Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy, excited to be here today. It's going to be an enriching, thrill time in which we're going to learn. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so happy, as I said. It's going to be so exciting. And as I told Onyi, we have 45 minutes, of which I hope out of those 45 minutes, 40 minutes, I'm going to keep quiet because we're the ones who will be talking. So let's right into it. So, in 2 to 3 sentences, just tell us what do you do and how you have seen inclusiveness in your everyday activities. Let's start off with Onyi.
Hi, so my name is Onyi Anyado. I've got a confession to make now. I'm a Nigerian, so my Nigerian name's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm out of breath already. I've got like 14 letters in my fully loaded name. Raise up your hands if you want to hear my fully loaded.
Yes.
Let me finish. So I'll tell you at 9 o'clock sharp. So I'm a leadership speaker and workshop facilitator. So the founder of Onyi Anyado Media House. So I created maybe an inclusive message called Cutting Edge Distinction. So from my strategy, from my philosophy, I deliver talks and workshops on corporate, educational and business platforms, really training and developing people how to leverage, how to locate and how to lead with their leadership distinction.
Awesome, very nice. So interesting. Let's hear you, please.
So my name is Smruti. I have a really challenging name as well, so maybe that's why we've been chosen. I help run a family business where we manufacture...
I'm so sorry.
It's
Give
not
it a little...
There we are.
Can we hear?
There we are.
Oh no, there's feedback. I help run a business called Bags of Ethics and Supreme Creations, where we manufacture reusable packaging for various brands around the world, from Fashion Week to Nike and to Tesco. My passion project, and my mother's in the audience, and she's actually the co-founder of Wings of Hope. And I'm nearly a helper and supporter over the past 15 years for the children's charity The Wings of Hope, where we work with over 35,000 students in the UK and a social enterprise programme focused on life skills. And we also have free education projects in Malawi and in India. And my journey through Wings of Hope has been brilliant, because when I was 18, I helped found the programme Wings of Hope Achievement Award, or WOHA, as we like to call it. And I've grown up with the programme over the past 14, 15 years. And what I've seen, which has been quite incredible, is that inclusivity is about not creating an us or a them. And the focus of WOHA is all about values and the life skills that you have as people, not as who you are, which country you're from. And some of the stories that we'll share over the course of this discussion have really been the most cherished moments I've had with 14, 15 and 16-year-olds who don't really look at colour or race or religion as their source of strength and energy. They just see themselves as real potential change makers. So I hope that we can explore that discussion further.
Thank you very much. Andrew, please.
Thank you. Morning, everyone. So I really care about supporting people who are either self-employed or in that world. I've been self-employed about 7.5 years now, and I found that beginning journey very lonely. People experience loneliness for different reasons. I think we need to be part of communities. My work generally is split into 3 parts. I do leadership coaching and innovation training in big brands like Adidas and Santander, and get to travel around the world. I also do youth engagement programs, helping young people with confidence, self-esteem, mental health and well-being. And then I'm here really to talk about Creators Club, a company I founded 2.5 years ago. We have 4 communities across the UK supporting independent creators. We don't label people in terms of like what they do. Some people think they're a creative person, some are entrepreneurs, some hate label altogether. But we are working with people from 21 to 70 plus, all sorts of backgrounds, and really helping people to feel like part of a community when they're isolated, collaborate more effectively because they're doing things that they need many skill sets for, and also grow their confidence, because the journey of anything entrepreneurial or creative, we have to keep tapping back into our confidence, I believe. And the journey I've been on has taught me that I self-doubt myself a lot. I criticise my ability when I'm not feeling good, but on days I believe in myself, I know anything's possible. And when that possibility is linked with let's have social conscience, let's think about a world now community, I think it's a wonderful thing. So I'm grateful I get to work with so many amazing collaborators that support me. And the selfish part is I started this because I wanted people to help me keep growing and learning. The generous part of this is I want to help other people, but together we all work together and it's a wonderful thing. So anything I can share today, I'd love to share.
Wonderful. One of the things that I really like about our panel is the rich backgrounds we all have. I'm actually want you to share Onyi. As we were talking, you told me your testimony is so, it's so interesting how you actually reached the point in which you are right now. At first, well, from what I know, you didn't have so much of a vision as you have right now, and your journey has been quite interesting. So, briefly, how did you reach the point in which you are right now?
So I was born and raised in Hackney, East London, which is maybe half an hour, 45 minutes drive away. To a 2.4 family, my mother, my father, my sister and myself. Unfortunately, at a very early age, I think when me and my sister were 6 or 7 or 7 or 8, my dad left. So for the majority of my childhood years and my teenage years, it was just me, my mum and my sister. And growing up, it was quite difficult. She's the best mum in the world, but we couldn't afford to go on school trips. Instead of having 3-stripe Adidas, I had to have 4-stripe Adidas, and I tried to rip off one of the stripes, and then, but funny enough, 8 years ago on Father's Day, me and my father reunited after 25 plus years, and that was one of the most, if not the most emotional times. So I went through the education system, so secondary school, college, university. So St Aloysius Secondary School in Archway, North London, Southgate College in North London. I didn't know what I wanted to become, but I was just going with the flow. But obviously as a Nigerian with a Nigerian background, I had to be a doctor, lawyer or pharmacist. I got to Middlesex University to study management and marketing. Unfortunately, I got distracted, and at that time I was the only one out of my group, out of my friends, to be in university. So I dropped out of university and began living a particular life called the street life. Now, some might know, okay, everyone knows what it means. I was going to say, some might not know, but it wasn't really gangs, it wasn't really like what we're seeing now in Evening Standard on the streets of London, but it was just young men in the streets of East London up to no good. Unfortunately, in that 10-year period, 6 of my friends got murdered. I nearly got shot dead as well. Obviously I didn't get shot dead because if I was, I'd be a ghost, and ghosts don't wear Zara blazers, so. I'm a sit-down comedian. So, where are we now? So, and it's interesting, living that lifestyle, the only job I saw myself doing was quite interesting, was becoming a counsellor. So I realised that I've always had that gift, that talent, and that passion to help people. So I always wanted to help people, and then, I was disgruntled with life. I realised I was quite angry. I was angry at my dad, even though I didn't know him. I was angry at our poverty, quote unquote. I was angry. I was angry that I wasn't successful. I was angry that I wasn't successful as a street guy. I was just angry. I was just angry. So yeah, fast forward now. I've now as a leadership speaker, workshop facilitator. I realised that living that particular life, I was a follower. I used to follow the people. I used to follow the crowd, and I realised sometimes in life we're always following rather than sometimes being bold, being confident, and taking the lead. So through that now, obviously creating the brand. My life story is called From Detection to Distinctions, which speaks for itself. So yeah, that's about it really. Yeah.
Thank you very much. On to you, please.
What was the original question?
The question is, if you can share with us, how have you reached the point in which you are right now? Pretty much briefly, your journey.
Okay. So I'm going to talk more about Wings of Hope in Welcome, because I had actually an amazing gift of education. I went to a brilliant school and a brilliant university, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So I'm from the opposite end of what you just described and feel very privileged for it. However, recognizing that gift of education made me realize that actually I am from the privileged few, and it would be impossible for me not to impart all of the benefits that I've gained from that to others who haven't had it. So when we started Wohan 15 years ago, I was on my gap year between school and university. And what we had when we were at school was something called Young Enterprise. Does anyone know what Young Enterprise is? A few of you are nodding. But basically, getting students for 14, 15-year-olds to run their own businesses. The fundamental issue I had with it, I took part in my enterprise, but the fundamental issue was that it wasn't focused on charity or social giving. So we came up with a program where, that was one issue. The second issue is it focused on students who were really interested in business. And it pigeonholed you as a person who's interested in business. And I thought, actually everyone has an entrepreneurial spirit somewhere. Everyone has a creative drive somewhere. Why should we pigeonhole children, particularly? So when we came up with the Wings of Hope Achievement Board, or WOHA, we wanted students to do anything that they wanted to do to fundraise for children overseas in far less privileged situations in India and in Malawi. But what we said was, you have a blank canvas. You have a blank canvas to do whatever you want. You're not the music kid, you're not the sport kid, you're not the charity kid, you're not the business kid. We're not going to pigeonhole you, but you're going to have a blank canvas over the course of 5 months to fundraise in the most creative ways that you possibly can. That was one criteria that we had as part of WOHA. The second was, lots of competitions involve a particular target. So it's normally a financial target. So the students that we said to take part in this program, charity program, was we said, you don't have a financial target to hit. So sometimes you'll have, raise £500 and then you'll get to the next stage. And we said, no, we're not going to discriminate between backgrounds. We're not going to discriminate between a child from Chelsea whose parents can possibly hand over a nice £500 check compared to someone from your background who really may be quite challenged even to raise 50 pence from a cake sale, you know? So we said that one of the fundamental criteria was to focus on creativity, to focus on leadership, to focus on bouncing back from real challenges. And the stories that I've witnessed over the 15 years have been extraordinary. And one such story I'm going to tell you now. So there was a girl called Diana, and she was from a local council called Brent. She was from a single family background, and her mother had 2 other children. And she was a dancer, and she really wanted to put on a dance competition at school. And she got together a team of her friends, and they said, okay, let's put together a talent show at school. Now, over time, over the sort of first couple of weeks, they all fell out. They couldn't agree on a strategy, they couldn't agree on a name, and she was quite a dominant, feisty young woman. The school team fell apart. But she persisted as an individual, and she said to her headmistress, I really want to put on this talent competition. And her headmistress completely ignored her, to the point where she had to go and write to the local mayor of Brent to say, I really want to put on a talent competition. And this was then picked up by a local radio station, who brought on Diana and the mayor of Brent, and said, Mrs. So-and-so of Brent School X, why are you putting on this talent competition? Lo and behold, there was a meeting between the mayor of Brent and the headmistress of the school, and she said, oh my goodness, of course we'll put on this talent show, of course Diana will support you. And over the course of 5 months, this wonderful young 14-year-old girl brought together friends from around the community where they did Bhangra dancing, they did street dancing, they did ballet in their talent show contest at school, all raising funds for Wings of Hope. And then as part of the program, we'll tell you a story to a panel of judges. So in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to have an event at the House of Lords where these young people tell their stories to an esteemed panel of judges. And when Diana told her story to the panel of judges, it was quite an extraordinary moment. So in front of her, she had Lord so-and-so, a senior director from the world's biggest PR agency, a senior director from Saatchi & Saatchi, and a few others. And as she told her story, they all started to cry. They were so mesmerized by her story of tenacity, of working through all of the challenges that were against her. And then what she did at the end of it was she whipped out her CV and she said, I want a job. Which one of you are going to give me a job? And they all said, we're going to give you a job. So she was the most extraordinary 14-year-old who, through thick and thin, knew that she was determined to A, support the charity, and B, enrich herself. And through that 6-month journey, she completely encapsulated what I believe is what we shouldn't do, is A, pigeonhole people, B, limit them, and C, give them any little opportunities that they can to flourish, because she is now flying so high. And she obviously had such an impact for these very senior people that they said, on the spot, we're going to give you a shot. So that's my 2 pieces for you today.
Please.
So I grew up in school in Newcastle, North East England. You might hear a bit of a Geordie accent there somewhere. I was a very creative young man, but I saw creativity as either art and design, and I did maths as well, but I thought, I don't understand where I'm going to apply this. I never saw myself as a business person. I never planned to be self-employed. I finished a degree with a first class in furniture design and thought, I don't want to make furniture anymore. Where is my place in the world? And I really struggled after university. I had a nervous breakdown at 23, suffered with depression, anxiety, and I was very, very lost. Didn't feel like I had a community, didn't feel like people understood me, and just didn't really know where to go. Fast forward 5 or 7 years, I was brave enough to ask for help and reach out for support and understand myself, my psychology, my mind, get into meditation and well-being, which enriches my life a lot now. But I was also brave enough to get on a plane to San Francisco, paid for by a part-time job in Tesco, and go to conferences and just see what else is out there in the world. And I worked really hard, and I was in this little barrier of I don't want to work too much in my part-time job because I want time to explore and find what I really care about. And I did lots of youth work, youth education projects. I've worked in some of the best schools in the country, and also worked in some crews where students are expelled for the worst behaviour we can understand. And that spectrum just gave me such an understanding that people have pressure when they're high achievers, and when they're not achieving by academic standards, their behaviour is misdirected. And for me, as a creative young person, I just didn't want education to have to put a test and an exam and everything. So that's one of my longer term, bigger things I really care about with education. And since Creators Club's expanded across the UK now, we've got schools wanting to set this up as an initiative within school as well, which is really cool. And I'm really excited where things are going to go in the next few years. But more importantly, there's other people setting up Creators Clubs around the country and wanting to do it around the world. So the format of the way we do things is hopefully very innovative and very inclusive, which is what I'll talk about later at this time. But that's where I've come from, and I want to keep going and working with people that believe in this direction and can help me do things that I know I'm not the best at, and help me amplify the things I know I do really well. I think that's for every person in the world. So.
Talk us about the Speed Mentoring Project and also the couple of projects that you have, 2 in India and the other one is in Malawi.
So, as I mentioned, I've grown up with this charity, right? So, when I was between school and university, I was fresh out of school. When I was at university, I helped spread Wings of Hope to other friends of mine at university. And then when I left university, and all of my friends became young professionals, I thought, okay, what could we do for Wings of Hope? Because I was growing up with the charity, and I could see that the trajectory of a young person can be quite confusing into the world of work. So about 6 years ago, we created an event which is now very popular, but at the time was quite novel, called Speed Mentoring. So it's basically speed dating for careers. But friends of mine had gone into a variety of jobs. I had friends who became DJs, I had friends who became barristers from around the corner, friends who went into veterinary science, dancers, mathematicians, you know, the whole spectrum of careers that could possibly be available. And I said, wouldn't it be amazing for 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon for young people between the ages of 14 and 20 who really don't have a real honest opinion about the world of work, to speak to my friends who are young professionals, to not be representing a company and towing the company line and not saying, oh, you know, you must join X company or Y company, but really telling their journeys. Wouldn't that be quite interesting? So 6 years ago we had 400 14 to 20-year-olds. All of them was resurgent, which is just around the corner, an enormous hall. A big gong on the stage, so after every 15 minutes of rotating between the industries, we hit a gong and then the students would have to move between the different tables. And we had about 30 to 40 young professionals telling their journey. And it was such a hit. And it was not only such a hit for the students, but it was such a hit for the mentors. Because some of the mentors really found that they were themselves feeling very enriched by telling their story to young people. One such story was Emily, who was a student vet at the time. And veterinary science is a 7-year long haul slog. And she was having so she was the mentor, and she was having doubts about becoming and training as a vet because it was really very challenging for her. And then when the students kept coming to her table saying, tell me about veterinary science, how is it? And she was telling her story, she found that she got her mojo back. And she felt that she should become a vet because she was inspiring young people to care for animals, just like she felt when she was growing up. And now I've been doing this for 6 years. What's interesting is that people have transitioned jobs. So my mentors, who were investment bankers at the time, have had some midlife crises and are now becoming creatives and influencers and fitness trainers and dancers. And so they're telling their journeys and saying, look, you don't have to think I have to be an astronaut or I have to be a doctor. Life is complicated. Life has its ups and downs. And so the students are actually getting a real biographical journey through the mentors, and it's very honest and open discussion. So much so that we encourage the mentees to ask, how much do you earn? How long do you work for? What's your working hours like? The sorts of questions that really are very, they're not really in the public. You may have stuff like Glassdoor, which is the online platform to see what remuneration packages are like. But that's not really giving the true and fair story. And so over 2 hours, it's a real hit event, and I'd encourage anyone in the audience who would like to participate to get involved. At official work via our Instagram or info@wingsflip.org is our email address, and come directly to us because we really want people from different backgrounds, different nationalities, and that's a form of inclusion. What we did was, it was a very London-centric event, but as my network grew, it became a very international network. And I saw the benefits of introducing people from different countries and cultures to the students. So we had an Indian cricketer who became my friend. He came and told his journey as a sportsman. We had a US Army Marine come and tell his story. We had one of my friends studied architecture at Cambridge and is now one of the biggest global music superstars on YouTube. And so he tells his journey. So the theme of this topic today is about inclusivity, and I think when you bring cultures and countries together in one room, you'll see that you're not really different at all. You see that the motivations are exactly the same. You're talking about your life goals, you're talking about your life goals, where I'm talking about different people's journeys. It's pretty much the same. And only when you bring people together and they don't have a recognition of colour or background, can they then feel, oh, actually I can attend these events. Now the interesting thing is that when we ran these events, we would run them on a Saturday. And lo and behold, we have a huge community of Jewish students who wanted to participate. But some of the students are Orthodox and they cannot leave their homes on the Sabbath, which is from Friday night, sunset, to Saturday, sunset. So wasn't that an interesting challenge? That we were actually excluding people from the event by holding it on a Saturday. What a recognition for us. And then on the other side, we had hijabi girls from Bow area, not far from here, who would only want to come on a Saturday because they would have some prayers on a Sunday. So just by holding this one event, we got such an interesting byproduct that we didn't think about of the choice of day that you hold an event can actually include and exclude people. So it's been a real journey, and I could talk for hours and hours and not be inclusive around these discussions. So I'm just going to stop. But the 3 key points are, recognize the network that you personally have and what can you do to exploit it to help others. The second is, when you host an event, realise who you're including and excluding. And third, if you can bring different cultures together in a really neutral event, it can be so empowering beyond what you can actually feel. And today, sitting here, I feel I've got my mojo back. And it's not just that I'm, speaking to you. You're giving me the energy and helping me out. So mentees and mentors work interactively.
Cool. Thank you.
So for me, two things are really important. The first thing is that anybody feels like they can come to our events and participate, regardless of whether they've got mental health needs, disabilities, where they're from, what age they are. So that's the first part of inclusivity for me. The second part is when people come into the space, I want people to participate with all of themselves as they feel comfortable. Now, in my experience, people only share their creativity, their ideas, or speak when they feel comfortable. We've all got a filter of, will I be judged? Can I say this? Can I really say that? And I work with a lot of creative people in particular who are more introverted. And they come into networking events and networking spaces, and everyone's got business cards, and they look at me, look how cool I am. And they're like, this is so uncomfortable and really awkward. And despite me speaking on stage now, I hate networking events. I really do. I shrivel up in the corner, I'm like, this is terrible. So we start all our events. The first 15 minutes, we do a creative themed icebreaker based on the theme of that month. And we make them so inclusive that everybody can get involved in it. And there's no success criteria apart from just express yourself in a small group and come up with something. And then after this first 15 minutes, everyone kind of relaxes, like, okay, so we're all the same here. But it doesn't matter how old I am or what business I'm in, whatever. We've just got this thing inside of us we're trying to express or develop. And that's the thing to focus on. And if we can give other people our presence and attention and help support them, and they do the same for us, we all flourish. So for me, inclusivity is about we all are welcome. Then when we're in this space, how can we make people feel comfortable to be themselves and express themselves? Because there's businesses all around the world that, of course, they want to retain talent and attract the best talent, but they also want to get the most out of people. And we do that by, as leaders and people in teams, by making people feel like they're accepted and they're encouraged to be themselves and share the way they want to as well. So within inclusivity, that's probably my biggest passion, and that's the way we do it. So.
So for me, inclusivity means legacy. So when I deliver workshops and talks across platforms, I always share with my audience and teach and coach my audience the essence of legacy. That you don't have to actually be dead to leave a legacy, and legacy has no colour. Legacy has no sex. Legacy has no class. Legacy has no gender, whatever. Legacy is all about service. So I created a GTP model, your gifts, your talents, and your passion. So if I'm speaking to young people or in corporates, what's your gifts, your talents, and your passion? How can you serve? How can you live your legacy and leave your legacy? Because sometimes when people die, we're like, oh, he was a great leader, or she was a great leader, oh, he was a great sportsman, he done so much for people, but we can actually leave a legacy now. So I remember I was delivering a program for the Lambeth Apprenticeship Scheme a few years back, and there was a young gentleman after one of the workshops, David his name was, or is, name changed. And he was like, I'm not very confident. So after the workshop, he came up and said, I'm not very confident, I said, what makes you say that? Because no, I haven't got no confidence. I said, do you actually know me from anywhere else? Because this was the second week. No, I don't know you. I said, but for the fact that you told me you haven't got any confidence, you've actually got confidence. So you're a young man, you're a young leader, you are actually a confident young man. I was like, wow, I never saw like that. And then over a period of time, and then we had a major conference, and he took the stage like anyone's business. And he told me he never thought in a million years coming from where he came from, that actually he can now be living his legacy and leaving his legacy. And now he's working with other youth organisations in and around London, developing young people to deliver their leadership skills. So for me, I think inclusivity is about legacy. It's to be legacy-minded, to live your legacy and leave your legacy. I think on Wednesday I was speaking on a panel again, and then I had a workshop afterwards, and there was a lady there, a more mature lady. So after hearing my life story, she was like, Onyi, I've got no more excuses. Because sometimes I think we can be so self-centered and selfish. It's about me, myself, and I. Give me. My name is Jimmy. Hope it's not Jimmy. So sometimes I think once we become legacy-minded, that we're ready to serve, we're ready to give, I think our problems and the issues actually can develop into opportunities and possibilities where we can go and impact other people. And for me, it's all about, I mean, you heard my life story. I grew up in a single parent family, didn't know my dad for 25 years, then he got shot in, whatever. But now I believe I'm living my legacy and leaving my legacy so other people who can now become inclusive and live their legacy and leave their legacy. And I always said to myself, imagine if a whole generation arises, whether it's an educational, business, corporate, and begin to serve wholeheartedly, serve their gifts, serve their talent, serve their passion. The world literally will be a better place, I think. So for me, the essence of inclusivity is living your legacy and leaving your legacy.
I really like your brand, especially when you talk about from detention to distinction, and pretty much your leader is Mr. Distinction. And being a leadership coach and also life coach, it's quite interesting for me how you managed to do that. In terms of people you have coached, I can tell you have been very inclusive because you've talked to people from many different backgrounds. Please share with us a bit about that, the kind of people you have coached and the types of people you have talked to.
Yeah. So it ranges. I don't work in prisons or young prisoners who've got no hope and no aspirations. So I love young people. I think I'm young myself anyway. So, you know, because one of my foundation quotes which I pen myself is leadership isn't about age, but rather leadership is about influence, impact, and inspiration. Leadership isn't about age, but rather leadership is about influence, impact, and inspiration. I was in Prague last year at a leadership conference, and it was amazing to see so many young leaders from around the world, from America, from Europe, from Africa, and it was fantastic that the fact that they didn't actually know they were leaders. They thought they had to have qualifications, or they thought they had to have the social media or the money or whatever to actually be a leader. So yeah, it's been across the board. I think I haven't arrived. I'm still on this journey. The last 7 years, I had to build a brand, but it's taken me around the world. It's taken me places I've never been before. It's taken me in front of, in particular, as I said, young people who think their worth is. When I realise that now I'm actually veering towards the corporate side of things, where I'm speaking to now adults and CEOs and line managers who actually haven't got purpose. For many, they've settled down. It's like, well, I wake up in the morning, rush to work, and is this, at the end of the month, I'm going to get paid, pay my mortgage. But it's more than that. So now working with the corporates is actually an eye-opener that people are actually, can I say, desperate to find and I won't say possess, but actually embrace their leadership distinction. Because then that will make an organisation a better place. That will make society a better place. So yeah, it's been interesting. And sometimes I wonder, like, is this for real? Wow, I'm going to places where I never thought. I mean, just yesterday morning, because I was chilling out at home, just yesterday morning, I received an invite to speak somewhere, and I was like, wow, like, I couldn't have fathomed this 10, 15, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. So it's taken me around the world. I haven't arrived, I've still got a long way to go. And for me, it's all about collaboration as well. I think our distinguished speaker said it's about being a forward thinker, being a future thinker. So I think we're in an era of creative distinction, and for me it's about great minds think alike. And not only think alike, we have to move alike, we have to change alike, we have to create alike, we have to be more creative alike. So yeah, it's taken me around the world, locally, nationally, internationally, and it's a real honour to serve my generation, to serve people. And I'm really excited. I mean, I'm like this last night I slept for like 5 hours. I was excited. I got here like at 5 o'clock, place was closed. I went back home. I didn't even know. I was just excited because when you found your distinction, you found what you wanted to do. And I think sometimes as the world has it, and you begin to just sit in front of people, speak to front of people, and the next thing you know, you just make a difference. So yeah.
Thank you. I'm still in the process of figuring out my calling, and as you said, where I am distinctive at. There are so many things that I want to do, so many activities, and knowing what activities or what I'm going to do makes me distinctive. It's very interesting. Andy, as we were talking, you conduct these workshops on these projects are very interesting. As I told you, as we were talking, I actually watched these videos of the workshops you conducted. Very interesting and speaks loads of inclusivity. Please share with us how you conduct the workshops and pretty much what are they about.
Thank you. So the audience we support branding, marketing, digital, or their personal themes like authenticity and confidence and focus and more deeper things that actually people really need to tap into and be great at. And we invite a guest creator every month to give a talk. And one of the first things we did 2.5 years ago when we started is say that we're going to have equal male and female guest creators. So we've had over 50-something events now, and just having that in place was one measure of how can we be inclusive and create more equal society. And there's so many measures that sometimes I can overthink it, because I want people that I think have the genuine desire to help people, to represent and speak, or people who have the right skills and qualities. And I don't want to think about ethnicity or race or age or nationality, but people also need to see people like them that are succeeding. So I think it's really important that we have a responsibility to represent different groups of people, but at the same time make sure it's in line with our values and purpose as well. So that's been really important to us, and as we've scaled it as well, and the different leaders across the UK are leading Creators Club, they also have the same ethos and mindset, which is really important. So these 2.5-hour workshops, they're interactive, they're experiential, they involve the creative exercise, then peer coaching, so people know that they have the skill set to ask somebody, how are you doing? How are you really doing? Where do you need to go? And what help do you need? And these basic coaching techniques, we let people practice them every month. And there's somebody who is 67, has been in business for 20 years, or maybe someone who's 60 and been in business 3 weeks with someone who's super young, got a very different skill set, and they help each other in such a collaborative manner. And these monthly events are little catalyst things that then afterwards people go off and work together and help each other on projects. And when I get emails and photos and stories of people that come to the events and say, Andy, we're working together, thank you. And it feels good in the moment, but then long term I just want people to succeed and keep achieving and helping each other. So that's the general format of the events. They take place in, at the minute, London, Bristol, Birmingham and Cambridge. And we have a national festival once a year as well. It takes place in October. And that involves wellness, mindfulness, yoga, a communal eating experience we had last year where we all cooked the food in the room and made it together. And I think food's such a bonding thing, and we got people in different teams of like 7 people made guacamole for everybody, 7 people made non-alcoholic mocktails, some people redecorated the room. It was like, bring this together. And I think when we as leaders let go of some of the ownership and say, we trust this is going to happen, everyone's like, well, I'm into this as well. And we tap into that energy in a very conscious way, and people love it and they co-create things. So that's why I live for what I do and get such a buzz out of it. But behind the scenes I have to do all the hard stuff as well, the marketing and other things that exist. But the inclusivity part is really conscious, and I think we have to keep coming back to it to make sure. And we've made mistakes. We had a beautiful venue we used a couple of years ago. It had plants all over it, it was nature, the ethics were amazing about social change, but I overlooked the fact that it didn't have wheelchair access. And a young lady sent a message saying, Andy, I would love to come to your event, I love what you're doing, but I'm really sorry I won't be able to get in the building. And I felt heartbroken. I sent a video back to her, because I thought an email reply just isn't enough. I sent a video message back and said, thank you for your message, I'm so sorry, thank you for your message. If we can accommodate you getting into the building, we will, but if not, then thank you for your feedback, because it helps us a lot. And she sent a message back and was like, wow, I didn't expect to get a video back. And I'm like, it's the least I can do, I'm just sorry. But they're things that are like, we have learned from, and then we just keep getting better and more inclusive as we grow as an organisation. So I think that's enough.
Smruti, wings of hope. When I just read that phrase, wings of hope, wow, I just imagined myself, well, I've been blessed enough and lucky enough to be surrounded by people who actually bring me hope. My parents have always equipped me to have always that inspiration, but I really try my best to place myself in a situation in which that was not the case. And I can tell that through the projects and through the activities you have been doing, you for sure bring hope to people who haven't had any at all. And again, when it comes about inclusivity, the projects you have been doing speaks loads about those. could you please talk to us about what is WOHA? WOHA, which is the Achievement Award, and how has it changed people's lives?
So I've talked a lot about WOHA already, but what I think is interesting is that it's really hard to run a charity. It's really, really, really hard. And what you just described now is, we're talking a really positive glowing light. If this room was a sort of colour, it's glowing pink, it's a real warm energy in the room. But what I'd like to focus a little bit on is that it's really important to feed off positive energy. And the children that we support actually give me a lot of hope to persist. Because it can be really challenging to run an event. To put on an event requires a venue, requires costs, requires marketing, requires, are people going to show up? Are they not going to show up? The constant panic that we have the night before throwing an event, because a lot of our events are free. In fact, pretty much all of them are free. And when you're working with 14, 15, 16-year-olds, anything could be a challenge for them. Maybe their parents can't drop them, maybe the tubes are down, maybe they can't afford the tube fare to come, maybe they, are ill, or they just don't feel like it, and it's not only young people who can be sort of flippant, it's everyone, but there is a particular challenge with young people that they may not have had the experience to say, I'm really sorry, and forewarning people that they won't be able to come. So one of the main challenges is, if you're going to do a project, be prepared for the real challenging times as well, because it's not all happy and glowing. However, if it's just one person who can make you feel amazing at the end of it, then it's totally worth it. Whether it's a Diana, whether it's an Emily, whether it's a David, whether it's whoever it is, because you know that you've had a little touch and impact on them. So your question was about WOHA. I talked a little bit more about it already. And coming back to what David said, Onyi said a few moments ago, is that I'm currently exploring doing a personal SWOT. Now we're in a business school, so everyone knows what a SWOT is, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And Pablo, you said you're kind of on this journey of finding yourself. I think I don't think it's easy to find yourself. But what one should do is specialise in things that one is really good at, and knowing that you are good at some things and you're really not going to be very good at other things, and to just focus on the things that you are good at. So if you are great at throwing parties, wouldn't it be amazing for you to throw a party for people who aren't as privileged? Or if you love cooking, wouldn't it be great once every 6 months to feed the homeless? Wouldn't it be amazing if you're really good at knitting or really good at sewing to kind of start a little, neighbourly project where you can help mend clothes and help the environment and stop all of this waste? Just thinking about your own personal strengths. I know I'm horrific at a lot of things, and I just should not go there. But the things that I am good at, why don't I just exploit for a better purpose? So I think in all of the confusion, you hear these amazing talks, and I'm so inspired by both of you. But I know that there are some things that I just am not going to be good at. And the things that I am good at, I will exploit for a better purpose.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I would like to ask, how much time do we have left? 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Sad. No, we have. I'm having so much fun. It's sad because whenever you're having so much fun, time passes by even quicker. But even quicker. Back to you, Onyi. So I really like this. Once again, I told you I was going to come with so many questions about from detention to distinction. Yes. And as we were talking, you mentioned something very important: the cutting-edge leadership, and all of that. How do you think the cutting-edge leadership would work in a more inclusive society? Let me actually repeat my question. How does cutting-edge leadership how would it look in a more inclusive society?
I think everyone's got the ability to be leaders. Everyone has that leadership gene or leadership DNA. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate things. I think we buy when the latest iPhone comes out, iPhone 10 or iPhone 5000, We buy it naturally because it's a cutting-edge mobile phone. We buy it naturally. We buy into the vision, the values, and the voice. So I think in a society where the global market is now local and the local market is now global, I think for me I think we have to become cutting edge, because if we can consume cutting edge products and services, shouldn't we now be producers of cutting edge leadership that actually challenges other and coaches other people to become cutting edge? So I think it's easy. As I said, we're surrounded by this is a cutting edge business school. It's not an average business school, so it's a brand, it's a recognized cutting edge business school. So it took time, it took determination, grit, etc., etc. So I think it's easy, and I think particularly here in the UK, particularly Brexit is happening as well. And I think it's imperative that we actually challenge our young people to become cutting edge, because they're our biggest, I always use the word commodity, but they're our biggest, in this country, this is the most valuable thing we've got, is the young people. We've got an aging population. Borders are now being closed left, right and centre. So it's the young people, I believe, that we now have to, because if we don't make them cutting edge, it's not going to be Great Britain anymore. It's going to be Britain. It's going to be a country of mediocrity, and all the other countries that were once, and I say enslaved, are now going to be cutting edge and taking the lead. So the race is on, the game is on to who's now going to become cutting edge, who can deliver cutting edge. It's not hard. I mean, if I've done it in less than 10 years and I haven't arrived yet, how hard it is for someone, and I've so to answer your question, I think I've already, it's imperative and it's easy. And it's all about, as I mentioned earlier, it's all about serving. You die to self, you die to your selfishness and your, oh my gosh, I mean in 2010 when I wrote my first book, I moved back into my mum's house, I didn't have a pound to my name, I couldn't afford a laptop, I didn't have a laptop, I used to use scrap paper to write my book. But if I didn't take that step of faith and I wasn't self-centered, and I wasn't selfish, I wouldn't be here now. Because I knew that I wanted to bring change to my generation, to society, but I couldn't do it in my comfort zone. So one of my quotes is, dear leader, do you know your comfort zone is not that comfortable? Yeah. And once we get out of our comfort zone, we can now broaden the inclusivity, and then actually everyone becomes cutting edge. So I don't think it's hard, but I think it's how many of us are going to pick up the baton of legacy, pick up the baton of cutting edge leadership, and knowing that let's produce cutting edge leadership rather than just consume cutting edge leadership.
So Andy, if someone at randomly, let's say you were walking by the street, and someone at random asked you, do you think we're living up to an inclusive society? Meaning, do you think that as we speak right now, do you think we are living within an inclusive society? What would you say to them?
It's a very big challenging question. I think inclusivity is complex. It really is. I think the work I do, I can affect the people in my life and make them feel included. And I spoke to one of the volunteer staff there who was an ex-teacher and was doing it, and I was like, I want to hear his stories. And he said that one of the things he finds most challenging is hearing about all the money going to Brexit and all the strategies, and then 2 people died on the footstep of Parliament in the last few months. And they have to physically step over a dead body into Parliament on their paperwork. And I think when you look at money and the influence in the world, like my biggest pet hate when I go to business networking events is when people get really carried away with, this is going to make multi-millions, I'm going to sell it for multi-billions, and I'm going to be this and that. I'm like, why do you care so much about this huge, vast amount of money? Is there a deeper passion that you care about people within this? And that's what motivates me. And I was super lucky when I was at school that I went to India and did a 2-week program where I built eco polytunnels to help people grow crops. And I got whisked out of Newcastle into a community where I felt so out of my depth. And I was quite a not mature 17-year-old. I didn't really eat food internationally. And I was just a shy kid. I was like, where am I? What's happening? But that experience of different culture and diversity planted a seed in me of, it feels really good to help people, but it's also what we should be doing. And when people talk about inclusivity, or I talk about it, sometimes it can feel complicated, but at the heart of it, it's I care about humans and fellow people. And if I don't understand how to help people, I will ask and say, what would make this easier for you, or what would make you participate more, or what can I do? And beyond that, it's just listening and observing. There's more we can do in this world, and I think when we have so much inequality in these high-level things, that for me is a measure of we can be more inclusive. that's where my passion lies, and it will continue. And all I can do is, in my best ability, work with people who believe in this and keep working, keep making progress. That's my
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you very much. Now, passing over the question to you. Do you think we're living within an inclusive society?
I think it is a challenging question, and I think we have to be conscious on a few fronts. The first is the concept that you talked about, which is localism. And there are lots of little projects like this that we're having today, which are taking place all over the world, whether it's in a religious form where you go to Sunday church, or whether you're going to a temple or whatever, or if you're going to a particular sports club, or if you've got an orchestra that you're part of. There are communities which come together around a central purpose, and that's a form of inclusivity. The second is on a more kind of macro level, where you test the pulse of a particular group, whether it's a country. Are we, as Britain, more inclusive, or are we inclusive currently? I'd say we're extremely inclusive as a country, because on this panel, I'm from a South Asian Indian background, you're from a Nigerian background, you're from a Geordie background, but 2 out of 3. It is people sitting on this panel are ethnically English. So this is really, I mean, as a sample set, this is very representative of this country, and I'm hugely grateful to the culture of Britain welcoming in immigrants over the course of time. However, the rhetoric that's happening at the moment, and the legitimacy in which this is being propelled, whether it's in journalism or sort of social media, is worrying. And it's important that the silence, so I was sitting with a really interesting person who analyzes a lot of digital marketing and trends on digital marketing. Basically, that well over 80% of users of social media are silent. They don't talk, they don't comment, and it'll be interesting to see whether this is true in this audience here, whether you're sort of silent observers, either whether you sort of comment or like. But those who actually produce original content is only 8%. So 8% produce original content, 14% amplify it, and the rest of us just observe. But what's happening is that the 8% who are producing original content, or the 14% who are amplifying it, they are the ones who are being listened to by politicians, by the media, and by others, as that being the potential rhetoric of that time. And so that is concerning, that the power and the force of these very few people can actually change the course of what you think is acceptable and unacceptable. And it has. And it actually has changed what we believe is acceptable and unacceptable. So how do you solve that problem? Because people like us in small gatherings probably have very similar mindsets, but we potentially may not be amplifying it as much as we can. And does it take someone like a Greta Thunberg, or a person who really has the force and ability to change the discourse in a very seismic way, to change the pattern of how we think about things? So this is the problem that we have today, is that I think that truly people are very inclusive in their hearts. They want to help people, they have neighbourly love, but the few who are at the fringes are changing the course of how we believe what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. And if we don't, as silent observers, change the way we act, then we're in a very dangerous territory. So, to answer your question, I do believe we're inclusive. I think people as individuals are really inclusive. But if we do not delve deeper into the snippets that we see on Twitter or reading headlines, and if we don't question facts, and if we don't produce counter-arguments, we can be swayed very easily. And that's really dangerous. Now, how do you solve that? Are we going to get everyone to read long 1,000-word journals? Are we going to get panels such as Question Time and LBC and whatnot, that would be brilliant, but it's the decision makers who make these judgments on who we put as the editors of papers, the journalists, and those who we amplify on social media. That's a more challenging thought. So all I say is, I'm not a populist. What I mean is, try and be producing counter-arguments to things. Try and challenge what you're reading. Is that actually true? Delve a bit deeper. That would be my one piece. Don't take what you're reading and seeing as a fact, as true. So I think we've gone into a semi-political, semi-philosophical area, but I think that's the only way I can potentially answer your question in its truest form.
Thank you very much. Lovely.